Hey everyone, I finished reading the Masters of the Universe Revelation trade paperback, and it was, not very good. I was really hoping this would be better than the show. It is, kind of better than the show. Like, the show felt like, I don't know, it felt like an attack on He-Man fans. Like, oh, you're a fan of He-Man? Well, screw you. Like, here's like everything we can do to insult you and make you feel like a freaking idiot for ever liking this in the first place. Whereas the comic just felt really dull and boring, and it was so hard to get through this. And also the weird thing is like there it goes into some of the backstory on some of the characters, kind of, and also it's trying to build up to Revelation. So even if I had liked this, it leads into Revelation. It's like I'm trying to think of something to compare it to. It's like I don't know, if you were to do a prequel to I don't know, Titanic. Like I don't know, maybe you could get an interesting story out of the young lives of Jack and Rose from the Titanic movie, but I mean, you know where it's gonna go. So anyway, yeah, Revelation, the comic. This came out individually, but I held off on it because I had the paperback pre-ordered. Why did I have it pre-ordered? Because this was announced long before the show actually came out, and I saw it, and I knew that I didn't want anything to do with it. So I just figured, well, I'll, like, wait until the paperback comes out, I'll read it, maybe it'll surprise me. Like, maybe, like, the writers will be better suited for a comic than the show itself, and, it's very disjointed. Like, nothing in here seems to hold together very well. It feels like it's a million different stories, and none of them are any good. Like, there's some interesting things in here, but for the most part, it's just boring and dull, and I don't like it, and the artwork's not... It's not bad. The artwork's fine. The artwork, like, looks fine. I can turn it to any random page, and the artwork looks fine. Like, it does the job. It serves its purpose. It looks like He-Man, although I have come to dislike this particular armor for He-Man because now I associate it directly with Revelation, which I don't like. So anyway, one of the things that's really annoying in this is Skeletor. I don't really know what exactly they were thinking when they were developing Skeletor for Revelation. I really don't think they understood. They didn't understand any of the characters. But, like, Skeletor especially, I don't know what in the world was going on with him in this. His whole backstory is completely altered from anything that's come before, which isn't new for He-Man. There's so many different interpretations and incarnations of, like, nearly every character. There's a whole encyclopedia about it, and even that, when it came out, some fans were like, it's still not complete. What about this one obscure comic somewhere? What about this obscure blurb on the back of a toy box somewhere, and or like in storybooks or something. In here, there's this weird bit where Skeletor is talking to Evelyn about his backstory, his origin, where he came from, and it's so strange. I was reading it and just thinking, wow, this is so weird. But it was probably like the best thing in this. But apparently the writers didn't think so because after how many pages does he spend talking about it? I'm trying to find it in here because he goes on for quite a while with it. Let's see. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 pages of a comic followed up with Evelyn saying, "That's quite a story. I don't believe a word of it." And then, um, Skeletor basically just flat out like says, "I have never lied to you. Strange. I think you really believe that. Whether it's true or not, why did you tell me? Blah 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 blah." Okay, there it is. Tell me honestly, was any of it real? What gave me away? 13 pages, and then another page of him, like, just, like, farting around, saying, oh, yeah, totally, it was real. Really? Yeah, totally. Really? No. 13, 13 pages of just zero relevance to the comic. The whole thing, it was actually kind of interesting. Skeletor in that story comes from a race of people who have skull heads. Hordak came to the planet of the Skullhead people. Oh, after the Skullhead people had been enslaved by some other group. I don't remember who it was that enslaved them. Whatever. Anyway, Skeletor joins up with Hordak, and it goes on from there, and zero relevance to anything. Like, and it's so weird because it's not like Skeletor's origin is a big secret or anything. We've had his origin before. I have a really old storybook from the 80s somewhere, and it's all about Skeletor joining with Hordak, learning magic, and then betraying Hordak, and then ending up with a skull face somehow from the result of it. So, whatever. Anyway, it's a weird, pointless story that goes on for 13 pages. And imagine if I was getting this individually, that's like half the comic. And then we get an origin for Evelyn, which is different from what we've gotten before. Skeletor comes to a very young Evelyn to recruit her into his little evil bad guy group. And he already has the skull head, he's not Keldor. So, in the world of Revelation, Keldor doesn't exist. And I'm wondering, what exactly was Evelyn's motivation with him? Like, in the original, like, most stories, the reason why she's with him at all is because she liked Keldor when he turned into Skeletor, then she didn't really like him so much, and she just wanted him out of the way so she could take over. In Revelation, I don't really know what exactly her motivation is. At the beginning of Revelation, she's all like, we need to get Skeletor back to life. And then, once he's back to life, immediately, like, try to betray him and then steal his power or something. I don't know. I haven't watched the second half of Revelation because the first half really burned me bad, so, Anyway, was there anything positive in this? Oh yeah, the cover gallery in the back was kind of cool. Oh, and actually, there was a thing in here, like, if you actually like Revelation, the characters are consistent. Like, Tila has a weird little, like, outburst out of nowhere, so that's in character for that incarnation. Skeletor, we don't really see much of Skeletor in the first half of Revelation, not enough to get a feel for his personality. Evelyn is kind of all over the place, so, yeah, that fits. He-Man just kind of stands there and they don't know what to do with him. Okay, that fits. Let's see. Oh, Tila starts to unlock her sorceress powers. Most of the characters kind of stand... Most of this comic is Skeletor and Evelyn, which makes me wonder why didn't... Okay, they are on the cover, I guess, at least, so that's something. Anyway, Mike Mignola did a cover, and it's in the cover gallery in the back there. That's kind of cool. And then, who was this guy? David Nakayama, don't know him. Ryan G. Brown. I know some of these names sound really familiar, but I don't know them off the top of my head. Eh. Oh, yeah, and Sergio Aragones from Mad Magazine and Gru the Wanderer. He did a cover. Oh, and Alex Ross did a big, like, 2-page thing. Oh, and really nice, he didn't give He-Man the H armor. So, yeah. This could probably... Yeah, and nobody looks like they're specifically Revelation. Oh, Man-at-Arms doesn't have his mustache. Huh. Okay, I guess, I'd love to get a poster of this, then. Because it's not specifically Revelation. So, anyway, I don't know what to say about this. I hated it. I didn't like Revelation. I don't like the book. I'm gonna keep it, because I paid for it after all, so it's gonna, I don't know, go with the Masters comics that I have already. If you liked Revelation, I'm surprised you kept watching, just hearing me bash it a bunch of times. But, yeah, that's all for this one. See ya.